Welcome to math. Today's lesson is 13.7 decimal place value. We'll be using models and place value charts to represent decimals to the hundredths in a variety of forms. So the first form I'm going to talk about is the standard form, and that's where we'll write a number in digits. So for example, 1.64 is 1 and 64 hundredths. So we're taking those digits and writing out our number. We're also going to represent our number in picture form. That's called the decimal model. And that's taking 1 and 64 hundredths, and then we'll draw it out in base 10 blocks. So when we look at this, we take a whole. So this is saying in front of the decimal point, it says I have one whole. So I would shade in one whole. And then in the next one, I want to shade in 64 out of these 100. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So that represents those 6 tens right here, those 6 tenths, and then 61, 62, 63, 64. And there are 64 little hundredths shaded in. So this is 1 and 64 hundredths. So that is written now in that decimal model. We've got our picture form and our standard form written. Next up, what we want to do is we want to look at this number broken down into expanded form according to the value of its digits. So what we'll do is I like to take that number and place it into my place value chart. I like to put that decimal here. Remember, I like to put that word and this is my ones place. This is my tenths. And this is my hundredths place. We can put our tens on here as well. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put that number in there, 1 and 64 hundredths. So I like to put the value, I come here, just like we did with our number that was a whole number, putting it into a place value chart. So this is 1.00. Then we go to our tenths place. We put this here. And tenths, we could just put 6, or we could put, we have 0 ones, 6 tenths, and you can put a 0 here, or you can leave it 6. And then finally, our hundredths, I have 0 wholes, I have 0 tenths, and I have 4 hundredths. So if I were to write this now in expanded form, I have 1, you could put it as 1.00 or just 1, plus 0.6 or 0.60. It means the same thing because you have 6 tenths is the same thing as 60 hundredths, plus 0.04 hundredths. Our final form that we're going to talk about today is going to be written in word form. So how we would take this and break it down into word form. So we know that we have one whole. So we would take 1. This decimal point is where we read and then we would read this together, 64 hundredths. That's hundredths. So we need to make sure we put that THS at the end. 1 and 64 hundredths. All right, so let's look at our first number. So we have line up our decimal point here. put our 2.91. And what we're going to do is we first want to, that's written in standard form, and then we want to break this down into expanded form. So we could put 2.00, then we'll come here, we'll put our 0.90 and 0.01. We've expanded that out. So if we want to write that, we could write 2.00 plus 0.90. Remember, you don't have to put that 0 there because it's the same thing as 9/10, and 0.01. We have 2 plus 9/10 plus 1/100. Okay, you don't really need these here. They're nice to have there so you can see, but you don't necessarily need them. So some people like to put them. Both ways are correct. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we've written it in standard form. We've written it in expanded form. Now let's write it in word form. So this is 2. Remember, this decimal point is where we write the word and. And then we'll read these two digits together. 91, it's hundredths. All right, let's look at our next question. So let's draw our place value chart. I like to put my decimal in first. I have my tenths, then I have my hundredths, those THs, and my ones place. All right, and we're going to put that decimal point in. We have 6 ones and 87 hundredths. All right, so we have 6.00, then we'll put 0.80 and 0.07. All right, so we have our standard form. Now let's look at our expanded form. What we have here is we have 6 wholes plus we have 0.8 tenths. We could put 8 tenths or 80 tenths. Plus 0.07 hundredths. And that equals 6.87. Now, if we were to write this in word form, we would say 6 and, we write this together, 87 hundredths. Alrighty. All right, so let's look at this. If it says we have 4 and 36 hundredths, how can we write that in standard form? Well, let's get that here. Again, this is our tenths, hundredths, ones. Okay, so I see and here. So I had 4 and 36 hundredths. So 36 hundredths. Okay, so then if I want to break this down, we know we have 4 plus 3 tenths. So 3 tenths is 0.3, and 6 hundredths is 2 digits over, so it's 0.06. And then we've already had this written over here in word form. All right, our next one is written as 6 and 1900ths. So we have 6 is my whole and 1900ths. Okay, so when I look at this, I know I have 6 wholes plus 1/10. So 1/10 would be written as 0 and 1/10 plus, if I have 900ths, I know that's 0 wholes, 0 tenths, and 900ths. Very good. And then I have it already written in word form over here. Well, let's look at this one. 2 and 4/10. 2 and 4/10. So if I have 2 wholes and 4/10, I would come here and I just have 4/10. So I don't have any hundredths this time. So how would I write that in expanded form? I would have 2 wholes and 4/10. So I'd have a 4 in the tenths place. This time I'm going to take my expanded form and put it together to add it up. So this time it says I have 3 wholes. So I have 3 wholes. I'm going to put my zeros here as placeholders to help me. I have 7/10. I'm going to put 0.7 and 400ths. So 0.04. And then we can add those up. So I have 0 plus 0 plus 4 equals 4. 0 plus 7 plus 0 equals 7. Bring down that decimal point. And then 3 plus 2 zeros is 3. All right. And then if I were to write this in word form, I have 3. Decimal point means and. Let me read this together. 74. And that place value is the hundredths. Let's take a look at this one. So I'm adding 5 wholes. So it's the same as 5.00 and 2 tenths. So 0 wholes, 0.2 tenths. You can put a 0 here if you want. And 8 hundredths. 0.08. Okay. And we can add those up. 0 plus 0 plus 8 equals 8. 0 plus 2 plus 0 equals 2. Bring down that decimal point. And 5. So then if I write this in words, I have 5 and, because that's what that decimal means, put that together, 28 hundredths. That THS, hundredths. All right, so today we used some models and place value charts to represent decimals and hundredths to the hundredths in a variety of forms. So check out your Google Classroom and I will see you next time.